may not know, but it is finch breeding season, and therefore the finches are in the house, and therefore there might be a little bit of noise. I would apologise, but I'm not really very sorry for it. So without further ado, I shall go through the UFC 152 card. Is it 152 or is it 153? Better just check. Oh no, 152, that's right, because 151 didn't take place because the management and Greg Jackson are involved in a sort of standoff, and poor John Jones got in the way. In fact, we're very lucky to have John Jones fight on this card, really, because I'm surprised he had the amount of time available to train for somebody like Vitor Belfort, but there we are. Incidentally, I personally think that John Jones will probably win this one. I am tantamount to saying that I wish that Vitor Belfort won, just because I think this is going to go on until Jones gets some true downtime, and that's not going to happen until he loses. So it may be best in the long term for him to lose this one, but I don't see it happening personally. Noak is fighting Charlie Bremerman on this card. Now, Kyle Noak is coming off 2 losses in a row. Despite it being a Canadian card, in fact, Kyle Noak is Australian, and his record 19-6. Now, his 2 losses are Ed Herman and Andrew Craig, and they've put him up against Charlie Bremerman, 15-4. You know, I don't think they want him to win this one, and I don't think he will. I think Charlie Bremerman will win this one, although I think it will go all the way to decision. Charlie is coming off a loss, but this is to Eric Silva. He's a bit rocky, I'll give you that, in his record. Loss, win-win, loss, win-loss, but he... I find him terribly exciting, even if he does tend to win by decision. I find him exciting. I think he will win. I shall go for decision. Now, I actually think this fight could be very exciting, and it's going to be closer than a lot of people think, if they care about it, that is. This is Mitch Gagnon and Walal Watson. 9-4 is Walal's record. He hasn't done so well since joining the UFC. A win over Joseph Sandoval, followed by a loss to Yves Jeroen and a loss to TJ Dillashaw. On the upside, both those losses were decisions. Mitch Gagnon, you know, 8-2, and he has only ever won by submission. However, one of those 2 losses came the last time he fought in his debut, and that was against Brian Caraway. To give him his credit, it did go into the 3rd round before he got submitted. I think that just based on experience of facing higher calibers, I'm going to give this one to Walal Watson, and I shall put a choke submission in the 3rd. But I think this could be interesting. I do think this could be interesting, and I do think this could be close. I think there's everything to play for here. And the UFC have paired off another 2 submission fighters here. We start with Simeon Thoresson, who is in fact from Scandinavia. He won his last fight, which was his debut, and that completes a 3-fight win streak for him. The problem is, I have no idea about the calibre of people that he has fought before, so I have no idea whether that's good or bad. His record, 17-2, is only slightly better than his opponent, Seth Baksinski, 17-8. Again, he is a submission specialist, although he tends to get caught in submissions a lot more than Simeon. He is on a 5-fight win streak. 4 of those have been finishes. And we are talking Clay Harvison and Matt Brown. I'm tempted to give it to Seth Baksinski. Might go for bar submission. No, I'm not going to go for submission. I'm in fact going to go for decision. And I think this could be another close call as well. Marcus Brimage is fighting Jim Hetz. Now, Marcus Brimage, you'll probably know from Tough, I think. He has one loss, and that loss is by submission. Jim Hetz, he has a perfect record of 10, and I do believe that, is it 9 of those? Yep, are by submission. He has won twice in the UFC, Alex Caceres and Nam Phan, so that's reasonable calibers. Reasonable calibers there. I think that despite not fighting at all this year, before this fight, I think that Jim Hetz will probably win this one. I might go for a bar submission in the second. I don't really know why, but in the match between Lance Benoist and Sean Pearson, although Sean Pearson has a record of 12-6 and Lance 6-1, Lance has never been finished. That one came in his last fight, not his debut, against Seth Baksinski, where he lost by split decision. I don't know why, but I think that Lance Benoist will win this one, and I shall go for a decision. TJ Grant's area of skill is submissions. He has 13 victories, and that's out of 18 victories overall in his career. Unfortunately for him, despite a 2-fight win streak, which includes Carlo Prata, although I hasten to add that was by decision, I don't think he'll win against Evan Dunham. Evan doesn't even have as good a record, 13-2. However, Evan has never been submitted and is reasonably good at submissions himself. He is an extreme couture fighter, and he's also on a 2-fight win streak. Okay, so his record is loss, win, but those two losses were to people at the top. So I think that he will win this one. I shall go for a bar submission in the second. Vinny Magalhaes is back. He was the guy from Tough 8, something like that, and he I do remember him, and he didn't last very long at all. He disappeared well before UFC 100, but he is back, about to make his second debut against Igor Pokrajic. That's unfortunate, isn't it? Vinny has a record of 9-5. Igor has 25-8. Vinny is an extreme couture fighter now. He is mainly a submission specialist. Igor, on the other hand, he is mainly a stand-up fighter. He is on a 3-fight win streak. I dare say that I think Igor will probably win this one. I might go for TKO in the second there. Cub Swanson. We don't like Cub Swanson. And this matchup he might find a teeny bit difficult. His record 17-5, slightly better than Charles Oliveira, who is 16-2. However, one of the weaknesses of Cub Swanson is submissions, and Charles is very good at submissions, and some of his submissions are a little unorthodox. If we look back in his record, calf slicer, knee bar, things that are not instantaneously, it's not necessarily your RNC or your guillotine, it might be a weird one. I feel that Cub Swanson might get caught here. I might go for some wacky submission in the first. I'm going to go for a draw on this one because I have absolutely no idea. Matt Hamill is back after just over a year, and with 2 losses in a row on his record. He's fighting Roger Hollett. The name rings a bell because he's been in Bellator, but only once according to his record. I don't know if he's good, bad or indifferent, to be totally honest. He does have a better record. You know, I'll go for Matt Hamill, but that's just because I know him and, you know, maybe he'll win. Michael Bisping's jaw has been off its hinges with all the da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da about what he's going to do to Brian Stann. Maybe. Probably not, but who knows. He has a better record, let's put it that way. 22-4. Brian Stann, 12-4. But other than that, you can't say much. I mean, I suppose in the last sort of year or two, the only thing that really they both have is a loss to Chael Sonnen. How embarrassing for both of them. So, what do we think? Well, Brian Stann is probably more well-liked, probably deserves the win more, although he is a Jackson's fighter. They are quite evenly matched, to be fair. Michael Bisping might try and win on points. Sometimes he does that if there's a danger he might be outclassed. And similarly, Brian Stann occasionally takes sort of risks that perhaps he shouldn't do in this particular match. Should be a bit careful. I don't know. I don't even know if this will actually end in a TKO or if both people will be a little bit cautious and it might go to a decision. I'm rather hoping Brian Stann will win this one. I'm thinking that Joseph Benavidez and Demetrius Johnson are very, 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 very evenly and well matched here. I don't know, to be totally honest. 16-2, 15-2, and all the losses are decisions. They both have a reasonable win streak, maybe 3-4 long. Most of them, you know, they all are at the moment decision. Maybe Joseph Benavidez is still finishing people more than Demetrius Johnson, but I don't know. I think a split decision here and possibly Demetrius Johnson, but really too close to call.